This is Inside the Jungle, episode 207, recorded August 12th, 2015. Bengals preseason kicks off. Video bandwidth for Inside the Jungle is made possible by the support from our Patreon community. To help support Inside the Jungle today, log on to spnt.tv/Patreon. Can you smell it, folks? I know I can. Preseason football is around the corner for the Cincinnati Bengals. We are less than 48 hours away from the Bengals kicking off their preseason against the New York Giants. And what better way to celebrate that than by discussing it here on Inside the Jungle. Glad you could join us. I am Nick Suberling, once again joined by my tag team partners, Anthony Cosenza and Scott Bantel. Scotty B, what's going on, man?
Hey, Nick, we get to talk about some football, and I'm happy to report that our quarterback has his jaw completely in place. We have no sucker punching in the Bengals locker room so far.
Well, the preseason and training camp is not over yet, Scott, so I hope you didn't just jinx us.
I hope so.
Because there might have been a sucker punch with Russell Bodine, from what I've heard lately. Not having a good day recently.
I think Dalton may want to sucker punch him soon.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it's the preseason and training camp, so I'd rather him get that in now rather than a few weeks from now when they're in Oakland. So, yeah, good to have you back, Scott. Glad to have you back as well, Anthony, out on the left coast. How's it been? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I had an okay weekend. Appreciate you asking. I was talking with some of the guys we write with and gals, Rebecca Toback being the lady that writes for Cincy Jungle, but I was talking with them late last night and just saying, man, time just goes fast, and it's crazy that training camp's already here and the first game's already upon us, and just kind of crazy how fast 2015 has been moving so far. So I mean, it's an exciting time. Everybody's got high hopes. So let's talk some Bengals.
That's right. We'll talk some Bengals. We're going to discuss what's going on, the latest news in training camp so far. It sounds like A.J. Green is having a hell of a camp. Obviously, we know about the A.J. McCarron injury, but we have all kinds of stuff to discuss. We'll open up the phone lines a little bit later on and get your take and get your thoughts, Bengals fans, on what's going to happen Friday night when the Bengals take on the New York Giants. And, of course, since there is actual football to discuss, we just might bring back our bold predictions. You'll just have to find out, won't you? Okay, so let's talk about training camp. What's new? What's the latest, AC?
Well, they're doing the joint practices with the Giants this week, and if you've actually, there's been quite a bit of coverage on that on the NFL Network, and I believe ESPN2 has even been kind of shooting some coverage over there too. So if you get the chance, I unfortunately, the hours that it happens, it's not too conducive to me and my day job schedule, but I've caught a little bit of that, and that's pretty exciting. It sounds like the team's pretty excited to actually see other people besides their own guys and go up against some different people, and then obviously the game is late this week, so that's pretty exciting. Luckily, we talked about Michael Johnson. That's kind of been the big injury so far, but he dodged a big bullet from it being a season-ending type of deal. And then, there's been a couple of nicks here and there, but they've been getting some guys back, which is good, especially on defense and bolstering that unit a little bit. Sounds like both units are showing some good things, a couple little chinks in the armor here and there, more so on the offense than the defense from what I'm hearing. But, it's good to see the team mostly intact and getting out there and playing some football.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken today, Scott, I believe today was the first day that Marvin Jones, basically our number 2 receiver, was able to go full go in practice, and it sounded like he responded well. That's good. That's a good sign, right?
Yeah, that is a good sign. I think, missing him last year was a huge deal. I'm very excited to see him back on the practice field. But like I said last week, I kind of do the I kind of take it with a grain of salt until I see these guys healthy when the games start mattering. I still have my concerns with the Bengals medical staff, so I'm still kind of crossing my fingers and holding my breath.
Yeah. The other news is, from what I've been reading and all the reports so far out of camp, is that Tyler Eifert's doing well, which is good. We definitely missed him a year ago as well, so that's a good sign. Defensively, obviously they're not going to have Michael Johnson for a couple of weeks, but I don't know. Has there been any other kind of, and again, Marvin did say he's not going to give us a daily Vontez update, but I don't think I don't think him coming back to practice is going to happen anytime soon, right, guys?
I don't believe so, and I think, it'll happen if everything goes well and goes according to their plan. I think it will be relatively soon. It just kind of depends on your definition of quote unquote soon. I mean, as soon this week? No, that's not going to happen. But I think the timetable we've heard is that they want him to play by that third preseason game, get out there and knock some of the rust off and get some playing time under him, get in football shape, as they say, and be out there and knocking some helmets. So that's the hope. It still seems kind of far-fetched a little bit just because of the type of surgery he had and what kind of recovery time that entails. But, they seem to have a little bit of a grasp on the timeline of when he's coming back, and they say it's going to be that third preseason game.
I don't buy it. Do you? Do you really buy it, AC?
No, I don't. I think that's not to say I don't think his rehab is going well. I did hear something that randomly at practice the other day, instead of, he's been doing some side work and things like that, just randomly the other day, he just sat there with an ice pack on his knee, which isn't really a good sign throughout most of practice. But, I think they're just being cautious, and if he's got some swelling or soreness or whatever going on there, obviously they want to take care of that. I think it's going okay in terms of rehabilitation. You got to kind of also wonder, and I'm not accusing Burfict of this, but some of the knocks he had coming into the pros was work ethic stuff and things of that nature. So you hope that's all behind him and he's really working hard and rehabbing, which it seems like he is. But again, that's just the microfracture deal is just a really, really big surgery, and it's tough for guys to come back in a quick turnaround time.
Do you agree with that, Scott? You're not really counting on Vontez Burfict for much here in the preseason?
No, in fact, I would be in the camp that says, I would prefer them to go ahead and pup him, with the microfracture surgery. Why rush him? They're in a different situation this year than they were last. Last year, they didn't have anything behind him at the linebacker position. This year, certainly what they have behind him isn't Vontez Burfict. But look, A.J. Hawk can fill in just fine. He's not perfect, but he can hold up the fort, unlike the guys they were backing him up with last year. And same with Paul Dawson. I mean, this is a guy that they compare to Burfict himself. Certainly you're not going to get the same type of performance right out of the bat, but, I think they have guys this year that can fill in and do okay in his absence, and therefore why rush him back? Worst case scenario, get him back midway through the season, and you have a healthy Vontez Burfict for the last half of the season. I mean, like I said, I would be of the camp of let's take this cautiously. Let's pup him, bring him back after the 6th week, or even the IR where they can come back after, I think it's week 8. So I would go one of those two routes with him.
Yeah, I think the more you can be cautious and careful with him, the better off you're going to be. I'd much rather him being healthy and fully fit and fully active in November and December, when they're going to be hopefully going through a playoff push. I'd hate for them to rush him back, have him get hurt early in the season, and then we have to wait another year for him to be back out on the field. So proceed with extreme caution, Bengals medical staff. Please, I beg you. Please. These are precious goods here. Don't touch the precious goods, right? Who was saying that? Oh, it was Jay Gruden saying that to James Harrison. That's right. Back on Hard Knocks, which I believe kicked off last night. Did either of you two watch it?
I don't have HBO, so I did not.
I have it recorded, but I didn't watch it yet.
I have HBO, and I probably won't watch it, just because I'm not interested in the Texans. There's only so much J.J. Watt I can handle, and if I use it all up now, it's going to be worse during the season. So stay away. That's just my take. So yeah, that's the latest around the Bengals training camp. Again, we are just less than 48 hours from the Bengals kicking off their preseason against the New York Giants. They've been practicing with the Giants all week. What do you think of the joint practice, Scott? I mean, do you like that idea? I know the Bengals hadn't done that since they were on Hard Knocks against the Atlanta Falcons.
I do. I think it's always good to get some additional competition. It's good from a standpoint of, in camp you never know how you stack up because the guys are on your same team. You don't know, you know, how hard they're going. I know you have guys making, trying to make the team. They're going all out all the time, but when you got other starters, you don't know. I just like to see how they stack up against another team because you hear about it all the time. Oh, the Bengals offense looked great on goal line today. Well, did the Bengals offense look good or was it the defense that looked terrible? So, you like to have it against another team where you can, start gauging how these guys look.
I'm just worried. The one thing I always see in these joint practices, AC, it's like you see this every year. I believe we've already seen it, is that you always have these camp scuffles, right? It never seems to go well.
Yeah, there was one today actually, being Wednesday. It was, I guess, Jeremy Hill busted off a long run, and as the play was kind of, after if you're doing a drill in football practice, a guy after he busts a long run and it kind of ends the play, some guy tackled him really late on the Giants, and he threw a football at him and wasn't too pleased about the very late tackle there. But I mean, those things happen, and you guys probably played sports for a long time. I mean, there's just a different tempo and a different feeling, even from practicing with your own team to even just a little thing like a scrimmage against another team that really doesn't mean anything, but going up against another team, seeing some different things, and really feeling that you're getting close to your season starting and getting that vibe. I think that just means a lot to these professional athletes and pro football players that, hey, football season's here. I'm fighting for a job, and I wanna put my best foot forward. And it's actually those kinds of practices that probably mean more to these fringe roster guys in terms of the coaches eyes than the little internal scrimmages, internal drills, things like that. I mean, they want to see guys go up against other people and see how they do.
Yeah, I don't know. When we scrimmaged, as a football player and being a kicker, I didn't really have that amped up feeling just because I was on my own little island. We didn't we didn't have that kind of pressure. But I do agree with you. I think it's good to go up against other guys, and you get an idea of maybe some other tendencies, or maybe you're getting a different look, right? Which is could be a good thing. And I think
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. So they wrapped up today. Was the last practice before their game Friday night. If the Giants are in town, I'm going to go ahead and assume that game is at Paul Brown Stadium. That'd be dumb to practice here and then go to New York to play the game. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that's the case. Probably going to be tape delayed if you live local and you want to watch it. You might be able to find some illegal stream somewhere. We do not endorse that, but yeah, that is what it is. Are you going to go to the game, Scott?
I am not, but I believe they got rid of the tape delay for the preseason games this year. I'm looking on the website now, and it's showing Channel 12. It doesn't say anything about tape delay. I swear, I'll check this while we're on air. I swear they got rid of the tape delay, even in the local market, it will be broadcast at 7:30.
They got rid of the blackouts too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be regular time.
Oh man, that's gonna be good to know. We're never gonna have to worry about that this year. Cool. No more. That's one less blog post at Cincy Jungle we're gonna have to write about the Bengals not making the blackout policy. It's a joke, Anthony. You're allowed to laugh. Oh, was that one of your posts? All right.
I'm laughing on the inside, Nick.
All right. So we got an email this week from our good friend Andy Reichenbach, and I'll tell you what, I chuckled very hard at work when I read this email. Pretty funny stuff. He sent us 7 questions. Actually, he sent us 8 questions. I can't count. Some of these are funny. Some of these might be serious. I figured, why don't we read some of these and have a laugh, shall we? You guys want to do that? Okay then. All right. this question. Pecco is a large man who eats corned beef for breakfast or something like that, if I recall correctly from Hard Knocks. Rex Burkhead has quick feet and a square build per AC. Who will see more snaps from the backfield this season? Ooh. Anybody? Bueller, go for it. Who's going to see more snaps in the backfield, Pecco or Burkhead?
I think this is an easy one. I think it's without a doubt Burkhead. I know it's sounds like an easy answer, but I think you're going to see a lot of sets where they use Burkhead pretty creatively. I don't know if it'll technically be out of the backfield. They may start him back there, break him out, but I think you're going to see Rex Burkhead fairly regularly in this offense. Hopefully you don't see Pecco that often. So I'm going to go Burkhead.
All right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really remember seeing Pecco in the backfield all that much last year. Once they had Hewitt and they knew Hewitt could actually play fullback, right? It may have been one or two times that he actually lined up at the goal line, but I'm glad that they stopped doing that.
I get where Andy's coming from there, but really, I think you see Pico back there. Definitely, you can count on one hand and have fingers left over. You know what I mean? So, and he never gets the football. He's lined up as a fullback. Rex will be back there more as a running back, but if you want to really be specific about it, I think we're going to see a lot of him, like Scott said, in different spots, and especially as a slot receiver guy going forward. So, I just think. I get the question, but I think Rex will see more snaps than Pico.
Let's see. Best bar bouncer: Andrew Whitworth, Marcus Hunt, Vontez Perfect, Adam Jones, and Reggie Nelson as a tag team. Anybody? You're muted. You're muted, AC.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
This was one of my favorite questions by Andy. Adam Jones and Reggie Nelson, they would probably be a terrible tandem as bouncers. Adam Jones probably, I don't think he would stay out there as a bouncer. I think he would be in the club partaking in whatever was going on. So I would say from an entertainment value, just so we could listen to his accent, I'm going to go Marcus Hunt.
I bantelled it with the mute button there. I apologize. So no, I'm gonna go Marcus Hunt. Guy's just massive and just. I've seen the guy in person. He's built incredibly. So 6'8", 280, 290 guys just don't come around all that often. So that's who I'm saying.
Bantelled it. Nice. Well done.
Kind of like Munson did. You know what I mean?
Bravo. Here's my take on this. I don't want Adam Jones anywhere near a bar, so I'm not picking him. I'm going to go Andrew Whitworth. He's got the bouncer look, the bald head, the big goatee. He looks scary, right? He's got the bouncer look, so he looks like he's the guy sitting on the bench with the little hand stamp, that glow-in-the-dark hand stamp that you're in. ID, please. You don't want to mess with Andrew Whitworth, so he's my pick.
He's the guy shooing away the group of guys, but letting all the ladies in. That type of thing. Oh
yeah, for sure. So these are some good questions. Last one, I'll throw this one out there. Andy Dalton threw 17 interceptions last year, and Brandon Tate had 22 kickoff returns. 0 would be perfect for both. But who will post a higher number this season?
Oh well. I certainly hope that it's Andy Dalton having more interceptions, because I hope that it's 0 for Tate. If Tate happens to make the team, I sure as hell hope it's Tate, because can you imagine the fire and vitriol that we're going to see on the site, in the chat room, and amongst our callers if Andy Dalton gets anywhere close to 20 interceptions this year. So I'm going to say I hope that it's Andy Dalton, because I hope that it means Brandon Tate gets 0 kick returns for the Bengals.
All right. What about you, AC?
What a double-edged sword that is right there. I think it's going to be Dalton interceptions, at least at this point. I don't know. Tate's status is questionable. I know you're shaking your head, Nick, but he's not a lock on the roster at this point. He's a maybe to probably, but not a lock. And there have been times where Andy Dalton's been up there in interceptions. I mean, I think that record-setting year he had in yards and touchdowns, he also threw over 20 interceptions, if I remember correctly. So, he has the propensity to turn the ball over a little bit, especially if they give him more free rein to throw the ball with these weapons back. So, I'll go Dalton interceptions.
Josh Schuster in the chat room says Brandon Tate because he runs everything out of the freaking end zone. I'm going Tate because Tate is going to make the roster. He's going to return that opening kickoff in Oakland for a touchdown. He's going to shut all you haters up. And I don't have tot sweats. So there you go. Good questions from Andy. Thanks for the laugh. Really needed that this week at work, Andy. Appreciate it. That was awesome. Good stuff as always. If you want to email us, you always can. InsideTheJungle@spnt.tv is the email address. So we're going to open up the phone lines. If you want to get in touch, Bengals fans, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. But what I want to hear from you, Bengals fans, what do you want to see Friday night against the New York Giants? Is there a particular player you're most looking forward to seeing? Do you want to see the defense play well? I want to know from you, what is it that you want to see happen on Friday night against the Giants? Speaking of the jungle line, let's open up the line and talk to the one and only Fatal Content. What's up, Fatal?
Hey, what's up, man? Trying to enjoy this beautiful Miami weather and talk about my Bengals with you guys, man.
How is the weather down in South Beach?
It's a little rainy, man. It's raining a little bit, but we can deal with it.
All right. So what is it that you're most looking forward to Friday night in this game against the Giants?
I think number one, definitely. What I'm most looking forward to is not seeing any injuries, man.
Yes.
I don't know what I was going to ask you guys, I don't know what the status on Marvin Jones is. I'm actually hoping I can see him do something.
Well, he practiced full go today, Fatal. That's the first time all training camp that he's been able to practice full go. My guess, though, is that he won't play, considering that was today. Today was the last practice of the week. So probably, again, if I'm the Bengals training staff, I'm keeping him as far away from the game as possible.
Yeah, I think on defense, to answer the question, I think on defense I'm looking forward to seeing Geno Atkins, see what he can do the first few drives since I'm hearing that he's dominating in camp. And I want to see what P.J. Dawson does. And on offense, I wanted to see Marvin Jones, but I guess that's like you said, we'll play it safe. But I want to see Tyler Eifert, man. I want to see some Eifert Tower, the Eifert Tower.
Eifert. Oh, well done. I'm just wondering, Fatal, how much of the starters we're going to actually see. So I don't know. I'm with you. I want to see Tyler Eifert play. I want to see him be healthy, and I want to see him make an impact. But, again, if he's out there with the ones, you're maybe going to see him for one or two drives, if that.
Yeah, I would like to see one series. I think that'll probably be what we will see, one series. So, man, I'm just hyped, man. We finally get to a little bit closer to actual football, man. I'm hyped, man. I can't wait.
It'll be a good time. I know you're looking forward to the game. You got a question of the night for us?
Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say, man. I actually think that Jeremy Hill is going to lead the NFL in rushing, man.
Whoa!
I think he's going to maybe do 1,700 yards, man.
Cojones. Sorry, I had to throw the cojones drop in there, Fatal.
Yeah, I wanted to get my first bold prediction in there, so I want to say that he'll lead the NFL in rushing, which I don't even know if that's that bold because he did lead the NFL in rushing the last, 7 weeks from week 9 to the end of the season. So I don't even know if that's that bold, but I'll try to show a little cojones tonight. I want to see, I guess my question is what's the percentage and how you guys can see him leading the NFL in rushing?
All right. Start us off, Scott.
What's the percentage, the chances that we see Hill leading the NFL in rushing? Is that the question, Fatal? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I can't believe he just called me sir. I say, I think he's got a pretty good chance. I'll go ahead. I'll say 25%, which I think is pretty high. Um, one of the guys that would be up there with him is Bell, and you got to figure he's out 2 games. Um, and boy, the last 9 games of the year, he'll lead the NFL. So I'll go 25%.
How about you, AC?
I'll go a little lower. I'll say 15%. I think the number to maybe lead the AFC would be my number that Scott threw out, about 20 to 25%. But there's a lot of talented backs in this league. You have to understand, Hill's going to still split carries, and they are liking what they're seeing out of Rex Burkhead, mostly as a receiver, but he's going to get a few more touches than he did last year, most likely. Giovanni Bernard, even though he's taken a back seat to Hill for the first time in his career, he's, aside from late last season, he's still going to get a lot of carries too. So do I think Jeremy Hill could be in that 13 to 1,400 yard range rushing? Absolutely. But usually, the NFL leaders are up towards that 16, 17 plus 100 yard type of season. So could he lead the AFC? That's more likely than potentially the NFL, but he'll be up there.
Jeff Hunter in the chat room says 80%. Cody, he's saying 40%. So you got some really high numbers there, Fatal. I'm gonna go 20%. That's my pick.
That's a good one. That's solid. You guys are being realistic. I just think that if we go off of what happened last year, he led at the end of the season. I think he's actually getting better. He's worked on his body to maybe be a little bit to last a little bit longer, and I think that the O-line has gotten a little better. So yeah, I think it's about 40%. I'll go where my man Cody went.
But the thing that he's got going against him though is he's going to be splitting carries with Bernard. So that's the other thing going against him. So we'll see. But again, if he's on fire like he was at the end of last year, I think you throw Bernard back there to catch punts and kickoff return and use him sparingly at running back.
Yeah, that would be the ideal situation. I hope that Hugh gets back to the ground game. I know we have offensive weapons, but I think the ground game will open up the play action, and I think that's where Dalton may thrive.
I think we all agree with you, man. Good stuff. Good call. Thanks for the question, and enjoy the game Friday night, buddy.
Perfect, man. I'll enjoy it, man. Missed you guys last week, so I had to call this week, man. Good job on the show, guys.
You're the man. Thanks for being such a big supporter of the show, buddy.
No doubt, guys. Who they?
Fatal Content leading us off here on Inside the Jungle. So what are you most looking forward to Friday night, Scott? Is there a particular player, or is there a certain facet of the game that you're really going to keep your eye on?
Well, no injuries always. That's kind of a given. But as far as things that excite me, I kind of like in my earlier years, I hated these preseason games. But as I get more into it, I kind of like these first two because I like the roster battles. So I like seeing some of these fringe players, see how they look. I'm pretty excited to see what they got at linebacker. I'm excited to see some of the safeties. I'd like to see this Darren Smith. He's been getting pretty good reviews, so I'd like to see what he's got out there. Some of these young receivers, I'm really excited to see how they use Rex Burkhead. I don't know if they'll show a bunch of that in the preseason, but excited to see that. And I'd like to see some of these other young running backs because I do think that Pierman's spot on the roster, that fourth running back spot, could be up for grabs. And so I'd like to see what James Wilder looks like back there. I'd like to see this new guy, this Terrell Watson, this big guy from Azusa Pacific. So I'm excited to see some of these guys that, they're not going to play much in games that matter, but they're going to be critical rounding out the roster should injuries come about later in the season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting watching the running back battle here to see who's going to be that third and fourth running back here on this Bengals roster. AC, I'll get yours here in a minute. I want to go back to the jungle line, though. Area code 703. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Richard Wilson.
Hey, Richard, what's going on, man?
Not much. Loving this week. It's been good to kind of actually get football stuff, getting like little snippets out of training camp and stuff like that. So it's it's like, I don't know, it's like the night before Christmas.
I know. It's super exciting times to be a Bengals fan and to be a football fan, to be honest, here with the first preseason game kicking off less than 48 hours away. So we're asking folks who call in tonight, Richard, what is it that you're most looking forward to seeing Friday night in the Bengals preseason opener?
Well, I'll answer. On the offense, I want to see the two receivers that got a lot of ink the last couple weeks. The undrafted kid, I can't pronounce his name, out of the Wisconsin school, and Mario Alford, who he keeps seeming to make plays in different scrimmages and with the Giants, stuff like that. I want to see him in a game situation, see if he's able to create a rapport with the quarterback. And then on defense, I really want to see the defensive line, see what Stills is looking like. There's this undrafted kid, Williams, who's been making, some plays. I kind of want to see, because I have a bold prediction that either Pecco or Gilberry, one of those guys, isn't going to make the team. That the Bengals are going to go a different direction. And I think Gilberry will get traded for a receiver. That's my bold prediction at the end of the thing, that we don't have all of our receivers in camp yet. They're gonna reach out and try to get a receiver.
Interesting bold prediction. Anything else you got for us tonight, Richard?
No, I was just wondering what you guys. I mean, it seems like the Bengals have a real affinity for picking up undrafted guys, and guys. Yeah, I mean, they seem to be a team that really gives a chance to undrafted players. Last year we had the fullback. Who do you think this year of undrafted makes the team?
Oh, that's to be honest, that's such a hard guess now that we haven't even seen him play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish you would ask us that question in about 4 weeks. But
okay, I'll save that. I'll save that question, and then I'll come back to you guys on that. Anyways, great show. Like the topic, and have a good night.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate the call, buddy.
So, Uday.
That's Richard here on the jungle line. Let's go to, let's see, area code 513. Hi, who's this?
Greg from Cincinnati. How y'all doing?
What's happening, buddy?
Hey, I went to training camp Saturday. Got a good front row look at training camp.
Give us a full report.
Dude, what you guys are hearing about Tyler Eifert could not be any more true. With my own eyes, that guy caught everything that was thrown to him. That guy, as some people say, was uncoverable, and I totally 100% agree. That guy got the most of my attention in training camp by far.
Awesome. That's good. That's a good sign, man. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, absolutely. A.J. McCarron, he played well. That offer kid, one thing you got to respect about McCarron is that he does what he can. He's like, okay, these are receivers I practice with. Him and that offer guy, you could just tell have a good bond already right now. That offer kid, if he gets open, man, and he learns his routes, you're looking at the Archo Hawkins, who we lost a couple of years ago. I mean, that's the guy who I'm going to be rooting for the most. And I guess my question to you guys is, do you think McCarron will play Friday? I'm a little scared with this little rib injury.
Well, I mean, I would really like to see him play. A lot of Bengals fans a year ago thought maybe he was the guy moving forward with this club. But if you're injured, and right now he's our number 2 quarterback, and the last thing you want is him getting further injured, so that, gosh, let's hope that doesn't happen. But if Andy Dalton were to go down, then we're looking at what? Josh Johnson? No thanks.
Yeah, really.
So if I'm the Bengals again, if there's anybody in this first game that's borderline, I just hold them out. No reason to be getting anybody more injured. AC, what are your thoughts on that?
My first thought is I'm curious how A.J. McCarron hurt his ribs, because aren't you not supposed to touch a quarterback in practice? So I don't understand how he really he wouldn't really be taking hits to the ribs, so I don't really understand that, except for the fact maybe he's got a sore torso from making a lot more throws. I don't really know, but if it is a somewhat severe injury, I would assume that they are probably going to hold him out. But Greg's right. McCarron's playing is long overdue. I mean, we wanted to see him last year, and he had this shoulder injury that nagged, and he couldn't get on the field during preseason. And these are needed reps that McCarron needs to take with this team and really assert himself as a backup quarterback. There are a lot of people, a lot of fans who aren't Dalton people that are clamoring for McCarron, but number one, he hasn't looked that great in camp from the onset of it, and number two, the guy can't really seem to stay healthy enough to play in these preseason games, which are really needed reps, game speed that he needs to look at. So I don't know. I have high hopes for the guy, but he can't seem to get on the field when they need him, and I would think that they probably hold him out this week. And just be the rib.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I mean, I don't think you are going to see McCarron. From everything I've heard, it sounds like he's not going to go, which is a shame because you do want to see what he. I mean, you know, I look at people who are saying that, you know, maybe he wins the starting job by the end of the year, and this is a guy that still has yet to throw a pass even in a preseason game, and you'd like to see what you got in him. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to get the chance. This would be the game where you'd probably see him the most. Well, maybe other than the fourth game, but you know, it's a shame that we're not going to get to see him. But you know, I was going to add to the call that we had before regarding the undrafted free agent. I was going to go ahead and say that probably the best chance to make the team would be this Jake Kumaro guy, the wide receiver.
All right. Maybe he got sucker punched. Maybe that's why A.J. McCarron got hurt. He got sucker punched in the ribs.
That could be.
Does that sound like something that could have happened at training camp, maybe?
No,
maybe
no
if he was
doubt.
playing for the Jets, right?
Especially with these joint practices, you never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
Tom Coughlin probably sucker punched him. Guy's got a short fuse.
Well, Greg, appreciate the call, man. Thanks for the report, and keep us posted next week. Are you going to the game Friday night?
Are you even asking me that question?
All right, then.
Yeah, I'll be there Friday, bud.
Awesome. We'll look forward to hearing from you next week.
All right, here's Day.
Hooday. That's Greg from Cincy giving us a ring here on Inside the Jungle. All right, AC, what are you looking forward to most Friday night against the Giants?
It feels like I say it every year, but you want to see, you know, no significant injuries, especially to important players, starters, and you want to see, especially the first unit, but you want to see crisp play altogether. I mean, minimal penalties, not a lot of missed tackles, just sound play. Even though it's the first game and you're knocking some of that rust off, you want to show that you're a solid team from top to bottom and you can make plays. You're not making mental mistakes. Those are a couple things, obviously, I want to see. But some position groups you were talking about that I would like to see. I want to look at the cornerbacks, especially behind Adam Jones and Dre Kirkpatrick. One undrafted guy that, you know, we were talking about undrafted players, Troy Hill out of Oregon. Cody and I saw him in person at the NFLPA Bowl. He's a little short, but he's a scrapper, and I like what he brings. I think Cody did as well. So that's one guy that I'd really like to see. He's kind of one of those fringe roster guys. I want to see the wide receiver group beyond the first three as well. I'd like to see some of those guys start to step up and assert themselves. And I do like what Richard said, and I actually find myself agreeing with it a little bit with the possible trade or a last cut type of waiver wire pickup like they did with Brandon Tate with a wide receiver. The team could do that, but I'd like to see some of these guys assert themselves, Mario Alford, Denarius Moore, those type of guys, to say, hey, you know what, we have reliable guys behind our big three, and we don't need to go and make a move. So those are a couple of the positions that I would be looking at.
Good stuff. All right, let's go back to the jungle line. Area code 513. Hi, who's this?
Hey, this is James from Cincinnati.
Hey, what's up, James?
Not much. Just thinking about the question you guys asked. I'm going to be going to the game on Friday with my wife, so I know preseason games aren't necessarily going to be super entertaining, but I would like to see a game that's, you know, at least watchable, number one.
Yeah.
She's not going to be as interested in the camp battles as I am, I would guess.
Probably not, but you never know.
Yeah, everybody leaving with the right number of ligaments and brain cells would be nice, of course.
Yes, I agree 100%.
And then the two things that I'm really looking for in particular are, first of all, I really hope that we can see some kind of pass rush and, the line getting pressure on running plays, because the Giants don't have a great offensive line. It's probably one of the worst offensive lines that we're ever going to see in this season. And if the team can't get decent pressure on them, they're probably not going to be getting decent pressure on many people.
Now, hold on, James. Hold on. The Giants went out this offseason, and they upgraded an offensive line when they signed Marshall Newhouse.
Marshall Newhouse? Yeah. I saw that joke coming. I saw Andy Dalton talking to him during one of the pictures and gave me a flashback.
Ugh. The human turnstile.
Not a pleasant memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the other thing I'd really like to see is I'd like to see Phil Dawson, show something. I've seen some light linebacking depth charts over the years, and it'd be nice to have another guy that you can count on if somebody else gets hurt.
Yeah, we're going to need help at linebacker, I think, with the absence of Vontaze, and we need, we really did miss his tackling machine last year. You know what I mean? And it sounds like from exactly from everything that we read coming out of TCU, this Dawson kid, he's got a high football IQ. He may not have the greatest speed in the world, but if he can tackle like Vontaze, I'll be quite happy.
Yep, that's what we need.
Awesome. Well, hey James, appreciate the call, bud.
Sure. I'm going to be in the second row, right behind the Bengals bench. Do you want me to get a Brandon Tate signature for you?
Sure.
I don't know if he's going to be receptive, but you get it made out the Subs, is that it?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, I'll try.
Appreciate it, James.
Sure. Have a good one.
Who day, buddy. I will proudly display that autograph here in the SPNT studios if that does happen.
Do you think the Bengals Pro Shop even sells signs of Brandon or pictures of Brandon Tate?
No.
Probably not.
No, because they, every year, like, there's the question of is he or isn't he going to make the team? So what? You can't buy all that stock and then
he's the overstocked inventory that they just give away to the homeless guys on the corner every year. Right. They just have boxes of Brandon Tate pictures that they just hand out. Even the homeless guys don't want them.
Yeah.
They're
so.
Like, no thanks.
Let me ask you this question: is it P.J. Dawson or Paul Dawson? Because I've seen both. Which is it?
I've heard P.J.
All right. So we will make it so. From this point forward on this podcast, we will call him P.J. Dawson. Boom. All right. AC, you mentioned that there's another group of players you're most looking forward to Friday night.
Yeah. I was thinking about 3 position groups, and then I kind of forgot about one. But the other group that I'll be keeping my eye on is the tight end group, and we've talked about how well Eifert has looked. Still kind of an unproven type of guy. I mean, he's played a little bit here and there, but he's looked great in practices and whatnot, but he needs to translate that to the regular season. And then there's the 2 rookies behind him, Croft and Uzomah, that have opened some eyes a little bit, made some good plays, but again, unproven guys. So that's a group really to keep your eye on, especially to see which one of those guys are able blockers. It seems like Croft is the most able of the 3, but they're going to need one of those guys to be able to hold their own as blockers as well as receivers. But that's a group I'm keeping my eye on, too, throughout the preseason.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this Uzomah guy has to offer. If I don't know what you're going to see out of your third string tight end for most of this year, but you never know. You put him in a 3 tight end set, and maybe he does something special. All right, speaking of something special, it's because there is a game this week, we need to bring it back. Our bold predictions, which might be a little tough considering we don't know who's going to play and for how long on Friday night. So Scott, why don't you start it off? Give us something bold that you're most looking forward to Friday night.
Brandon Tate will return 1 kickoff for a touchdown, and he's going to lead the Bengals in receiving yards, over 100 yards receiving. I can see it now.
I hate you because you literally stole my bold prediction, so I will have to change mine. Good stuff. What about you, AC?
I hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, I will say Rex Burkhead has 150 combined yards and 1 touchdown, rushing and receiving. And I don't I'm not really discriminating what kind of touchdown he has, but 150 scrimmage yards and a touchdown.
All right. I guess I could do the drop for that.
Hold it.
All right, so you've gone the Burkhead route. I'm going to go, because I don't think McCarron's going to play, so I'm going to say Josh Johnson is going to throw for over 200 yards, and I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns, whether it be of the rushing or passing variety. Probably more towards the rushing variety. That's my guess. So Josh Johnson, 200-plus yards through the air, and wow, even that's high when you think about it. That is bold. So I'll go 200 yards passing and 3 touchdowns for Josh Johnson. If you're in the chat room, we'd love to see some of your bold predictions. Make sure you use the hashtag bold prediction. You can also send them to me on Twitter as well, at Nick Suberling. Josh Schuster in the chat room is giving us a season bold prediction. We'll do season bold predictions when we get closer to week 1. But Josh's season bold prediction is Andy Dalton throws for 4,315 yards. He's very exact, very specific. 41 touchdowns and 15 INTs. Oh, man, that would be nice. That is bold, but that would be nice if that did happen this year. Andy Reichenbach's bold prediction, I don't have to listen to anyone talk about James Wilder Jr. ever again. All right. That's a good one. So, yeah, there you have it. We'll continue to update some of these bold predictions as we go. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, we're here for a couple more minutes. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Let's do some shout-outs, shall we?
Shout-outs!
AC, why don't you start us off? Maybe not. You gave me a shout-out face like maybe I'm not ready. So, Scott, why don't you lead us off this week?
Well, I'll go back to the well here. A few weeks ago, if you were listening, I went to give a couple shout-outs, and I forgot one. Old man syndrome, I suppose. So I'm going to go back and give that shout-out. As you guys know, I trade questions with someone from the opposing site every week before games. Done a lot of things where I've talked to other writers from other sites, and I'll give our shout out to all of our writers at Cincy Jungle. I think one of the things that we do very well is a very objective outlook on the team. Certainly we're all Bengals fans, but you don't get a lot of homerism, I don't feel, from CJ like you do a lot of the other sites. It's just it's a testament to the writers, but it's also a testament to our editors, Rebecca, Josh, Jason. They don't let those type of things fly. I just think a shout out to all the writers, because we have some of the best writers in SB Nation.
I agree. I think we have the best site in SB Nation, personally. I'm a little biased, of course, but yeah, I think everybody does a great job. We don't have Bengals tinted glasses on. We don't have the blinders on, and I think we do present the information in an objective manner. I think we do that as well here on the podcast. So,
no doubt,
good stuff, Scott. Let's see, Brett Bradford in the chat room says his bold prediction is 7 sacks on Friday night. 6 of them by Marcus Hunt. He didn't say that. I just added that. I'm kidding, of course. AC, how about you? Got a shout-out this week?
Well, to Scott's point, in case you guys haven't heard, the parent company of SB Nation was actually purchased by, not purchased, but heavily invested in by NBC Universal. So we're a lot of money. Yeah, so a lot of money thrown to a lot of the parent companies of SB Nation. So we're up with the big boys, so which is good to know. But I have a couple. One is from Kevin Daubert at Mercury's God. He said, love the Inside the Bengals podcast, Inside the Jungle Bengals podcast. Listen every week. I'm a Bengals fan from Reading, Pennsylvania, not exactly a hotbed for fans. So absolutely, he gets a shout out. He sent me something earlier today. And I guess I will go with, I had one other, and I can't seem to find it. But that's Kevin Daubert at Mercury's God. That's what I had.
Good stuff. My shout-out this week is to Tully. He sent this email in. Just wanted to say thanks for this podcast, and I'm a Bengals fan who grew up in Texas and always had to be around Cowboys fans. gag. Grew up being a Bengals fan. My dad had pictures of him and Paul Brown at our house. I also went to the awful playoff losses in Houston as well. I hope to go to the game this year in Cincinnati, and this podcast has been a godsend. It's good to know that there are other diehards out there. I thought I was the only one. I look forward to episodes every week. Hoo day. And Tully actually sent that email from the Inside the Jungle app. You can contact us inside the Jungle app as well. So thanks for the email, Tully, and good feedback, and glad we can give you your Bengals fix each and every week. If you want to be shouted out here on the program, all you got to do is email us insidethejungle@spnt.tv. You can hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Nick Superling. We do our best to respond to everything that comes to us, and we love your feedback. We love hearing from you. We do this show for you. So please send us your feedback, send us your comments. What can we do better here on the show? What is it that you like? What do you dislike? And we'd love your feedback, and we appreciate it. Let's go back to the Jungle line. Area code 513. Hi, who's this?
Hey guys, it's Brendan Warner. How's it going?
Hey Brendan, what's up?
Not much, man. Finally relaxing a little bit with a little bit of off time after 3 straight days of busy practice. So.
What is it? I know you've been busy. You've been shooting a lot of footage down at the training camp. We can't thank you enough for that. You've been crushing it. What is it that you're most looking forward to Friday night against the Giants?
All right. I love the preseason more than most. And honestly, I could probably say every single position group I'm looking forward to seeing some of these back end guys. But I'll narrow it down to 3 groups, or at least 4. So I mean, mainly because I watch camp and it's not full contact. So one of the big things I always find myself saying is, well, I mean, I don't know how the guys in the offensive line or defensive line are doing, because I just can't. They're not really pushing each other around like full force. So I'm really looking forward to Jake Fisher on the offensive line, and then of course Geno Atkins is looking great in camp, so I want to see him push around that Giants line, and then Will Clark at defensive end. All right, so that's the first 2 groups.
Okay.
And then the tight ends. So I've been seeing, of course, Eifert's been doing amazing, but Tyler Croft and C.J. Uzama, the 2 drafted rookie tight ends, have been very impressive in the passing game. I mean, they're just doing really well, but I have no idea how they're going to be blocking wise. So I want to see how those 2 guys block. I think Croft would be okay, but I think Uzama might struggle mightily. And then apparently Matt Lengel's a good blocker, so I want to see him. And then my last group is some of the back-end receivers. You got Jake Kumro. He's just been a great route runner, big catching radius. I want to see him against live competition in a real game, because I mean, sometimes in preseason, sometimes these guys are having a Kobe Hamilton last year.
Yeah.
They look great, and then the lights come on and they're dropping everything. So they just don't have that mental toughness, I guess. So Jake Kumro, and then other receiver Mario Alford. I honestly don't care how he does as a receiver. I just want to see him catch every punt and kickoff cleanly, so that he makes the team as a return man. Brandon Tate does not make the team, and Nick has to eat tater tots.
Well, you've been down there, so tell us, has Alford really been struggling at returning kicks and catching punts?
No, I mean, he had his first muff punt yesterday, and today he had some struggles with. I mean, I don't really hold it against him. The trajectory from the jugs machine, I guess, that was launching these punts up, kind of centered him at a little bit of an elusive angle. I mean, some other guys didn't catch him too.
Okay.
So I mean, he didn't track these 2 well, but he's only had 1 true muffed punt. So
all right.
I expect him to do well. I mean, who knows though? Because I mean, maybe the lights come on and he just can't catch these things cleanly. So we'll see.
We will see. And again, thanks for all that you've done for the site with all the footage, and appreciate it. And thanks for calling in, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I love doing it. And thank you for the comments. I guess thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you later.
All right, hooday, Brennan.
Hooday.
That's Brennan Warner checking in here on Inside the Jungle. So what I'm most looking forward to Friday night, obviously we've stated it here, I just want them to stay injury-free. That's a given, right? That's a no-brainer. But what I'm most looking forward to seeing is the special teams. I want to see Kevin Huber. I want to see Mike Nugent, see how they're kicking the ball. I want to see this Tom Obarski dude who seems like he's booming the ball through the field goal post. I'm a special teams nut, right? I say that every year. I heart kickers. But more importantly, on special teams, I want to see the gunners. I want to see what the upbacks are doing. I want to see what the personal protectors are doing. I want to see Mario Alford return kicks, because then I'll know whether or not I'll be sitting here shirtless eating tater tots for an entire episode of Inside the Jungle. I don't think it's going to happen, because I do think Brandon Tate is a lock still. But I want to see this Alford kid. I want to see what all the hype is about, and we'll find out Friday night. Speaking of Friday night and all the hype and shirtless subs, it's time now for the Brandon Tate Countdown to Kickoff. Best segment of Inside the Jungle each and every week. I know everybody loves it. We're at 31 days, 18 hours, 16 minutes, and 35 seconds until Brandon Tate, number 19. Did you even know he was number 19? He's number 19. Is returning that opening kickoff in Oakland for 6. All right, that was the Brandon Tate. Oh, I love this.
I don't even know. I don't even know what we're supposed to say anymore at this point. We keep disagreeing with you, and this thing keeps being a segment. So
The segment keeps getting better and better by the week, and by better I mean more terrible.
Oh, I love the segment. It's the best.
It's like the Al Roberts of segments. It has so many holes in it. It's just...
Well, it's going to continue. I might even keep it if it gets cut and just keep playing it. Why not? Oh, man, that's funny. Final thoughts as we get out of here, Anthony Cosenza.
Well, Nick, I got a text message during the show, and it actually was from my parents who were tuning into the show. I think they've tuned in maybe a couple times, but they're tuned into the show. They gave me a couple pieces of constructive criticism during the show, but including don't drink beer on the on camera and stop with your hand resting on your chin. But other than that, they were very supportive. They like the show, and they are tuning in. So if they are still tuning in, thanks, Mom and Dad. Appreciate you tuning in. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. and Mrs. Cosenza, I'm assuming.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't think my parents have even ever tuned into a live show. They say they do, but then when I quiz them, it's always, well, yeah, so then I know better. That's awesome, though. Good stuff.
I thought so.
And thank you again for all the work that you do for the site and for the show, man. Really do appreciate it, AC. Final thoughts, Scotty B.
Well, I don't think, well, I don't know this for sure, but I don't think my parents are watching. But AC, I like when you rest your chin on your hand. It lets me know that you're really into the thinking position and that you're about to say something really, really amazing.
I like to think of it as the pensive position, right? You know?
Yeah. So, no, Nick, just excited to see, even if it's fake football, some actual tackling on Friday. Start to get some idea on this roster makeup. So, I'm pretty stoked the game is not going to be on tape delay as well. I don't know if you saw, I put that in the chat room, but I did verify that blackout's been gotten rid of. Our articles about the blackout have also been gotten rid of. So, the game will be on regular time, no tape delay.
Awesome. Well, enjoy watching the game Friday, and of course, thank you for joining us this week, Scott. Appreciate it. I'm wearing my Bowling Green shirt tonight, mostly not because it was the only thing clean I had to wear, but I do want to give a shout out, and I know nobody's gonna like this or enjoy this, but I did feel really bad for this guy Sunday night. Sean Swisham is the kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he and I graduated from BG together. He was a great kicker for Bowling Green. And I really hated seeing him go down with an ACL injury in a preseason game. I mean, that's ridiculous. I know he's a Steeler, but I gotta love kickers. What can I say? He's a Falcon too, so kind of bummed about that. And hope your recovery goes well, Sean. Not too well though, because you are a Steeler. Again, thanks to everybody who tuned in live here at CincyJungle.com. A reminder: we do broadcast the show live every week here at CincyJungle.com at 9 o'clock Eastern. We'd love to have you. We had over 50 people here in the chat room tonight, which is a new high for the summer. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. I know Lord Funkington, he's in the chat room. He's in New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. He makes an effort to make it to the show, and I don't know exactly what time it is where he's watching, but I know it's not 9 o'clock Eastern. So, Lord, appreciate you tuning in and making the effort to be here on Wednesday night live here at CincyJungle.com. But again, if you can't make the live show, don't you worry. You can download each and every episode of Inside the Jungle via the Inside the Jungle app. It's available in the App Store and in the Google Play Store, so if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you can download it at spnt.tv/apps. Thanks to everybody who's gone out and downloaded that app. Don't miss a single minute of Inside the Jungle via that app. Of course, if you listen to other podcasts, you can always catch us in iTunes. We're in Stitcher. We're in TuneIn Radio. So anywhere podcasts can be found, you can find Inside the Jungle. As always, Inside the Jungle is a listener-supported show. We thank you for your support. If you want to help contribute to our Patreon campaign, you can over at spnt.tv/Patreon. We're about halfway to our goal of $700 to make that Football Daily podcast this fall happen. So again, if you want more Inside the Jungle throughout the week, that means maybe some more interviews, a dedicated show for just our opponents that week, a recap show on Sunday night. All that's made possible by our Patreon. spnt.tv/Patreon is the link, and your support is very much appreciated. I think that's it for the week. We missed you, Mickey. If you're listening, hopefully we'll have Mickey back with us next week to get his thoughts on hopefully a Bengals win. Should we do a score prediction? Do a score prediction real quick, Scott and Anthony. Scott, lead us off.
Well, first, before my score prediction, Nick, apparently my Al Roberts joke went unnoticed by you and many of the others. You don't recall, as a special teams guru, the terrible special teams coach from back in the late 90s, Al Roberts? Like late 90s, early 2000s? Oh,
horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Oh, my God.
Now I know who you're talking about. Absolutely.
Okay.
Jeez.
I mean, it's ringing a little bit more of a bell. Maybe it's because I was so easily forgotten.
He's still not welcome at my house.
This is like the Travis Dorsch era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was maybe 97 through 02. I mean, they were good for 3 to 4 kickoff/punt returns a year.
All right.
Um,
I seem to remember that now.
yeah, where were we even going with this? I'm sorry.
Score prediction.
Oh, 32-18 Bengals.
All right. How about you, AC?
23-20 Bengals.
All right. Josh Schuster says 42-39. He's going for a high-scoring affair. You have a lot of faith in one Josh Johnson. Beth Harcourt, she says 10-3. I'm going to go another low score. I'll go 17-10. Bengals win on Friday night. Enjoy the game. Of course, we'll be recapping the game next week live here at CincyJungle.com for episode 208. But in the meantime, episode 207 is in the can. Special thanks to our associate producers, Andy Lanham, Larry Rolson, Mike Vardy, and Fado by Ari. Inside the Jungle is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, make sure you log on to spnt.tv. And, of course, check out our amazing Bengals content over at CincyJungle.com. The number one NFL fan site on the SB Nation network, in my opinion, of course. So for AC, for Scott, for Mickey, I'm Subes. We'll see you next Wednesday, everybody. Hoo day!